Are you all right?
The wonderful music by Mike Digital.
Wonderful.
Can't give that guy enough kudos. The great Mike Digital. Digital with a J, not a G. Check him out on YouTube. He's got a great channel. He puts up a lot of instrumental mood music, if you will, up there. And also a lot of videos about abandoned insane asylums. If that's your sort of thing.
It's great. It's great.
It's great. It's a niche thing, but it's pretty neat as a niche thing. My name is Johnny Bobbles. Welcome to the Squared Circle Maniacs Pro Wrestling Podcast. I'm joined to the left, as always, by Dr. Don Wayne, of course, the neckbeard psychiatrist from YouTube, psychiatrist, psychologist, and a shoulder to cry on for all those orange-fingered neckbeards in their mother's basements, masturbating furiously over Mariah May and Anna Jay and Liv Morgan in swimsuits, and the lovely Sky Blue, beating their beef as hard as they can. Thanks, everybody, for joining us. Please like and subscribe. I'm saying all of Don's words ahead of time. I'm trying to save his voice. Go ahead, Don. What do we got today? We got a big show today.
There's
a lot of news blurbs, items.
Okay, I just want to lead off with this before we get started. If you're trying to make it in the wrestling business and you have thin skin, it's probably not a business you should be in. Like you probably shouldn't be running your hole on Twitter. Maybe social media is not your thing. If you can't take the slightest criticism over something so innocent as your attire, and it's not like anybody ripped this person. Nobody went crazy. And by the way, yes, Mike, please share this on your social media. If you have thin skin, you can't really take criticism, feedback, positive or negative. This isn't a business you should be in. Like it's
the entertainment business. It's not a real sport. It's the entertainment business. You've got to be able to be critiqued in the entertainment business. Am I wrong?
You're right. And Todd nailed it. Goes for any profession.
Any profession. Any profession.
Had an incident today where I'm not going to name this person because I don't want people to go find them, but
go ahead.
What
do you care?
Because this person's they're clearly mentally weak. Like they're clearly not cut out for life right now at this point in time. They got some demons in their closet. They're having a hard time. Yeah. Hey, Miss Pat, good to see you. She got a very
Miss Pat's here.
She had a very small criticism about her outfit and immediately said people were making fun of it and were mocking her and just really went off the deep end. Like it was just a simple little, hey, maybe you shouldn't have that on your crotch. That's probably not a good look.
She is a professional wrestler. She was in a sports bra type top and naturally the wrestling trunks, shorts that women wear. And she had flames down by her vagine.
Vagine, yes, good play.
Her vagine, yes.
So people notice that,
Yeah, fire on the Susie, pal. Fire on the Susie.
People noticed that and commented like, hey, maybe that's not the best look. Maybe you should, I don't know, consult with someone before you do your next wardrobe change.
Sure.
And this individual went completely off the deep end, just cut a 3-minute video about how upset she was about the entire situation, how hurt she was, how she felt attacked, and the word she kept using was triggered. If you're using words like triggered and upset in the wrestling business, you shouldn't be in this business. No, I'm not in the business, right? I'm not trying to talk like I am, but you're going to get booed. That's your job, is to have people criticize you if you are a wrestler. They're supposed to hate or love you, and there is no in between. You need to get a reaction, positive or negative. And if you cannot handle even a little bit of criticism, like, hey, maybe not do this without losing your shit, you're probably in the long run of work. Oh, and by the way, you probably should see a mental therapist. I'm not going to cut a promo on this person. I'm not going to go off the deep end and say all the things that I wanted to say today. But I just wanted to start off with that. Like, maybe talk to a professional.
Promo, Don. Go ahead.
No, it's just, look, this person has clearly got a little bit of a.
She's She is got a very athletic looking girl. I mean, she could open up an OnlyFans account and ditch wrestling altogether. She could do that as long as she wears a bag over her head. She'd be okay and make some money.
She does have an OnlyFans account, which again was just a bad marketing decision. Yeah, Like, it's a bad marketing plan to have a fire shooting out of your bush if you have an OnlyFans account. That's not sending the right message.
And that butterface.
So, and exactly, she is a key
nice
example
body,
of
but
needs better help.
She's got a nice body, but her face needs a little work.
Yeah, I'm not getting all that. It's just
I'll body shave. I don't give a shit. I'm an old man. What else do I have? I got nothing left but dogs and a woman that beats me every night.
Yeah, but you asked for those. Anyway, I just wanted to say that, like, young lady, get some help, talk to somebody. I don't know what you need to do, but maybe you should get off Twitter.
One thing, Don, wait a minute. Speaking of hurt feelings, we never talked about the Maxine Dupri situation from last week when you were out sick. It was all over Twitter last week. Maxine Dupri is a member of the Alpha Academy with, of course, Chad Gable and Otis and Akira Tozawa. And she is she started out as Sophia Cromwell in NXT. As a manager, she had no televised matches in NXT. No televised matches at all. You saw her on camera. She's trying to recruit people to be in her stable so she could be the manager of these people. And all of a sudden, somebody called her up. Somebody saw her on NXT television and said, "Pal, call that girl up, pal. Ask her if she'd like to wear a hat." And she came up on TV, and she was she was Maxine Dupri. When they gave LA Knight that Max Dupri gimmick, Maximum Male Models, she became the co-manager of Maximum Male Models. He became LA Knight when Vince left, and the rest is history for that guy. They got rid of Maximum Male Models. They put her in Alpha Academy, and to make the long story even longer, Chad Gable's teaching her on the road how to wrestle. Okay. Instead of putting her ass in NXT, he's teaching her how to wrestle. So she's wrestling on house shows. She wrestled Nia Jax.
Oh, this was the chick that got booed.
Yes!
I saw this. Because the idiots came out of the woodwork for this, and I commented on it, where they were like, don't boo her, she's trying. Don't boo her, she's doing the best she can. Dude. Folks, if I pay hard-earned money for a show, and I go and you stink to join up, I'm going to boo the shit out of you. I'm going to boo you from pillar to post. Not because I don't like you, but because it was bad. I paid for a product that was bad.
Right.
Don't come at me crying. Don't come at me crying because you can't get the job done. And
you're right, she's not a wrestler.
And if she's not a wrestler, then she should tell him, I'm not ready, don't put me in the ring. She's got words, right? She can use them. She can say words. And I also saw where Rhea Ripley put something out there. I actually commented on this, Johnny.
Well, it all started when Rhea Ripley posted something. That's when all the floodgates opened. Everybody wanted to go and get a little, pat on the back from Rhea Ripley. Like she's actually going to do that. And they all chimed in after Rhea said something. Also,
this is a great comment.
Be respectful, but when it say you suck become crossing on a wrestling show. Also, where were these fans during the Eva Marie era? And there was one guy. There was one guy who was recording on the cell phone.
That's the one I saw.
Someone said, "Boo, boo." It might have been two other people, and they're close to the phone, so it sounded loud. Boo, Maxine, you suck. Don't come back. As she's walking up the ramp, holding her ribs with the referee.
But it doesn't matter, Johnny. Like, that doesn't even matter. You are allowed to boo these wrestlers. And here's the thing.
That's the object
like Mr. T said, Kurt Angle used to come out to chants of "you suck," and it was considered honor. Like, there's a difference. But if you're being booed because you had a horrible performance, get better. Don't blame the fans. They paid their hard-earned money to come to a show. Shut the hell up. Practice your trade. Get better. Stop sucking. This business isn't for everybody. You don't see me trying to get my fat ass in a ring, and I love wrestling. I'm not hitting them ropes.
That's why they have a performance center. They should put her back at NXT. Have her do double duty. Put her on Raw. Put her in NXT on Tuesday nights. Learn how to wrestle there. Do it in NXT. Don't do it on the main roster.
Yeah,
it's not an experiment.
But
not an experiment.
I did.
Flailing around, flopping around in a ring, falling over, being beaten up by Nia Jax.
And that's exactly right, Alex. The worst thing a fan can do is nothing when they just sit on their hands. Get some kind of reaction.
You get no reaction at all, it's the shits. You are the shits.
That's when the show's dead, and your wrestling career's dead. Anyway, speaking of careers that are not quite dead, but really weird.
Life report.
You and I have differing opinions on this.
Yes.
right? It was.
I don't know who you're talking about, but I like these surprises. Don and I hardly ever talk about what we're going to talk about.
No, we
He
talked
gives
about
me
this.
like one main story, and that's it. So this is all new to me. Go ahead, Don.
Mercedes Monet.
Yes.
She did
Our lead story.
She did a podcast and a show.
Mm-hmm.
And she's supposedly, and this is where we differ, I believe she's going to show up on Wednesday night. And she's going to be on AEW. And she's going to be their latest game changer, as they like to call it. She's our game changer. She's coming in hot. She's going to be the one that turns it all around. And she might pop a number. Like, they might even get 900,000 off of this because she does have a pretty big following. She does. I'm not a fan. You like her, and that's fine.
She doesn't have that big of a following, Don, for 7,000 tickets sold.
Well, I'm just saying. Like, I'm not trying to say she's John Cena, Undertaker, or the Ultimate Warrior, but she has a following, right?
If they would have announced her definitely coming.
And I get that. And that's they wanted to keep it secret, but they should have been teasing it a little bit more. Like, they could have done a silhouette of her standing and not shown her face or something along those lines. Like, there's certain ways you could do this. There's ways you could have given hints to get the crowd, the people that want to come see the show. You didn't have to keep it completely in the dark. There are ways around this. When Chris Jericho was coming to the WWE, they did that countdown all the time to give you a clue of who it might be. Like, it kept doing it. And you had a clue it was Chris Jericho. I know. But you still think she's not going to show up, or have you changed your mind?
It's 50-50 right now, but I think it would be the greatest work of all time. The greatest FU to AEW, where she didn't sign a contract. She promised to appear, and she said, when I show up at the arena, I'll sign the contract. And then she won't show up. And she'll be on fucking SmackDown on Friday night. Sorry, I just dropped the F.
I think she's going to be there. I think she's going to show up. But she said something on that podcast that got my attention. She said, I'm not done with the WWE yet. I'm going to go back there eventually. Look, man, I don't give a shit who you are. Why would you say that if you're going to AEW? This is your new boss. Why would you mention the alleged direct competition? Let's face that. They're not a direct competition. They're not a direct threat. It's an alternative. But why would you even mention that company in this interview and say you'll go back there one day? I don't understand why that happened today. It made no sense to me.
As anyone important who's in the industry, who's in the know, I'm not talking about Sean Ross Sapp, because he says she was coming in November. I'm not talking about Meltzer. He said she signed a contract in December, and then he backtracked on that. I'm talking about, has anyone got her documented on video or audio saying, I signed a deal with AEW, I'm coming in? As Tony Khan said, Mercedes Monet is coming in. I'm not talking about playing Blues Clues or Where's Waldo with a little word in the background of a big spreadsheet, a big poster for what is it? Big Business is the name of that Dynamite for next week.
Yes.
I'm not talking about that. The little coming to Boston, BO $TON in the background of that blurb. I don't think. Why wouldn't they just say she's coming? Get maybe another 2,000 people in the arena. Pop a rating. Have people watch it. Big Bang Theory. Oh, I'm a wrestling fan. Hey, I'll stay for this if she's coming out. Why wouldn't you? One of the biggest stars of the WWE in the last 10 years that jumped ship.
Women's stars.
And went in.
Be very clear.
What's
Female
that?
Stars.
Female stars. Yeah.
I'm not putting her up.
Why
with John
wouldn't you
Cena,
do that? This all stinks. There's a little bit of a smell to this. And I'm skeptical, Don. I've told you for months now that I'm skeptical. And if she does show up, I do not think it's going to be for 3 years. I don't think it's going to be for 2 years. I don't even think it's going to be a year. I think maybe she'll sign like a 4-month contract just to keep her feet wet and then go back to the WWE.
If it's the $1 Million Man, he's going to be there selling Bibles. I can guarantee you that much right now. That guy is a shill. That dude is a complete. I'm not getting into this, but
you hear what he gave to the GoFundMe for Virgil?
No.
You hear what he donated? $5.
Dude, get out. Stop.
I swear, my hand to God, it said
Stop.
Ted DiBiase, $5.
Stop.
Big money, Ted.
I think she's going to be there. I think she's going to show up on AEW.
If she does, it's great. If she does, it's great.
I
and she'll
don't
get
think
pissed off and walked out.
I'm thinking the same thing when she sees the crowds, when she sees she's going to make good money. I have no doubt about that because Tony Khan will pay anybody, as we're finding out here. I mean, he'll pay anybody a ridiculous sum of cash. I think she's going to be there. Anybody. I think she's going to show up. I think she's going to be part of AEW for at least the next year. And I believe with all that is in me, if I see her get in front of the stage with a ukulele again, I'm getting my popcorn ready. Because that is still the most cringe-worthy promo I've ever seen in my life. It's almost as bad as Lex Luger and his tight T-shirts.
Even said 4 months, a 4-month contract. When she signed with New Japan, it was per date. She agreed to a limited amount of dates. Not a year, not months, a limited amount of dates. I think she had 6 dates with New Japan. And then they broke up. So.
Well, we'll see. I mean, we only got a few days. We got a few days to wait. That's it.
And the doctor, have you heard what she said about her doctor?
I did see that. Yeah.
Career-ending injury was that ankle break when she fell off the top turnbuckle to the floor in that high school gym that the New Japan show was doing in California.
Technically, I believe it was a college. Technically.
College, high school. It
was
Lizzo Nightingale. Lizzo Nightingale knocked her off the top turnbuckle.
I just don't want people like that.
Another botch by another botch.
I don't want people be like, actually, it was a college gym and it holds about 3,000 people, and you guys don't know shit. I don't want Firecrotch coming here setting the goddamn house on fire.
Firecrotch comes in with a flaming vagine and suplexes you and I.
Fire!
Crotch!
Oh, we do have some other news that popped today that made me happy.
Yes.
So The Rock is in on the Hall of Fame votes now. He has a say in this, which would probably explain why we're seeing so many teams and so many wrestlers that are getting in that deserve it for once. Guys that actually should be there. The latest today, do you have that ready?
Pull it up right now.
If not, I can talk about it.
Hang on a second, Don. I got the video.
Here's what it says. The Rock has had input on this year's Hall of Fame inductees, with one source indicating it would be evident if he planned inductees are revealed as scheduled. Whatever the hell that means. So I'm pretty excited about this. Maybe we're finally going to get some people. We saw, look, Bull Nakata's getting in finally after all these years. I know she didn't have a huge run in WWE, but they would always put people that were just WWE or WWF in the Hall of Fame.
Have you heard what she said? She's up for one more match if the money's right.
Bull said that. Did she really?
She's 56 years old. She's not as big as she used to be, but she's still a fit woman.
Just don't give her a goddamn cane. She will wear your ass out with that cane, dude. If you have not seen Bull Nakata go off with that cane, go Google it, kids. It's worth your time. All these no-selling idiots in AEW, watch this chick. She took a few shots to the face, grabbed the cane, and then went postal on them women. Craziest shit I've ever seen.
The U.S. Express, as they are today, had a video call with Triple H where he broke the news to them that they're going into the Hall of Fame. Would you like to see that?
Yes, I would. That'd be pretty cool.
I wanted to talk to both of you guys. I wanted to talk to you together. I want to talk to you about Hall of Fame. This year is a big year. It's the 40th anniversary of WrestleMania in Philly. You two were there to start it all. You two were,
Captain Lou.
Were in the ring at the very first WrestleMania. That means a lot. It means we wouldn't be where we are today without you guys.
That's pretty crazy at the first WrestleMania.
I'd like to tell you today that we are going to induct both of you into the WWE Hall of Fame in Philly.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's a great honor, obviously. But yeah, it's a great honor. Thank you.
Damn, he's crying.
Both of them crying.
Legends in this business, and we're really excited to have you in there.
It's been a great journey, you know. I mean, watching WWE grow over the years, so it's pretty damn cool to even be part of it in any aspect.
I'm really happy for both of you.
God, I love Barry Windham. I love Barry Windham, man.
Thank you, Hunter. Thank you.
I wanted to talk to both of you guys. All
right.
That's awesome. And, of course, Mike Digital has some great little account information. Real American was their theme song first. I did not know that. Thank you, Mike. I didn't know that.
Let me ask you a question, Don. Who was the first guy in the U.S. Express? Wasn't it Danny Spivey? And then he left for WCW?
I do not know that one. That one I couldn't tell you. I don't know.
Or
Dan
was it Barry
Spivey,
Windham and then he left and Spivey came in?
It says here Mike Rotunda and Barry Windham in the World Wrestling Federation. Windham was later replaced with Danny Spivey. So there you go.
So Spivey came after the fact.
After,
okay.
yes.
Yes.
Mike Digital on again. And Mike Digital brought this up as well, which is another thing that Triple H did today. I want to talk about this.
Yes.
The YouTube account of WWE surpassed 100 million subscribers. That is insane to me. How is it possible they have 100 million subscribers on there and can't hit 3 million on any of their shows? That's nuts to me. It just shows you how much different today's audience is from yesteryear. They're all consuming it in a different platform now. They're just not watching TV, and I get that. I mean, we talk about AEW's ratings all the time, but when, in retrospect, AEW has 4 million subscribers on their YouTube.
Yeah,
and
that's it.
And they're, it's a different platform. It's a different everything. One of them is a monster. The other one is just a joke at this point is the only way I can put it. Sad. So that means they've announced what?
4 million. 4 million is nothing to sneeze at, Don. I mean,
for a billionaire with $1 billion pocketbook, that's kind of small.
If a dog takes a shit, all the flies come out, Don. 4 million.
All right. Well, that means Paul Heyman, Bull Nakano, and the U.S. Express have been identified as the Hall of Fame so far. Okay. I would love to see the Midnight Express get in there while these guys are still alive. I don't know why they're not in so far. They should all be in. I mean, we're
missing one of them.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Get them in now before it's too late. They're not going to be here forever. Do something now while you can. Those guys, and it's the 40th anniversary, right? So make it a big damn deal, man. Put them in. Why are we still waiting on this?
Don, 2 days ago, a rumored list came out for the inductees for the Hall of Fame. I'm going to read you that list right now.
This is
U.S. Express. Rumored U.S. Express. And that was confirmed today. Leah Maiva, The Rock's grandmother. Muhammad Ali going into the celebrity wing of the Hall of Fame.
I did hear he was going in. I think he even got announced.
Wasn't he outside referee at the first WrestleMania?
Yes, he was.
Yes.
Yes, he was.
Bray Wyatt, of course. Bray Wyatt's been rumored. Yes. Thunderbolt Patterson.
He should have already been in. Why is he not in?
Vince McMahon.
Dude, I don't get it.
And Haku.
Another guy that should have been a long time ago, for God's sakes.
The Rock calls the man uncle. So that's where the input of The Rock came in. The Rock's not picking Bray Wyatt or Thunderbolt Patterson or any of those guys. He's picking his grandmother. He's picking his uncle, of course.
Clearly, no shit.
And put them in while they're alive. Put them in while they're living. Jesus Christ. Why wait till everybody's dead and then you try to put them in? And you got their kids there looking sad as shit. Or the wives wearing their high school prom dress.
It's
put them in.
Well, I agree. Like, don't wait. They keep waiting forever. And then they put in these guys that don't deserve it. It pisses all the fans off. Like, there's so many wrestlers out there that have a shot at should be in there, and I don't understand, man. In 3 years, I'll mark his. I hope they do. I really do. There was another little tidbit of news that came out today about The Undertaker. Did you see this?
No, I didn't.
His one-man dead show will be along at WrestleMania. It'll be there. And what capacity, I don't know, but they're promoting it. So
why
not? They clearly got their hand in it somehow. Have you seen part of his one-man show yet?
No, I haven't.
It's pretty good. The dude, he's clearly rehearsed the shit out of this.
Mm-hmm.
I enjoy.
Don, who's his co-host, by the way, for that?
It's just him.
That's it?
He comes out and tells stories and does his deal and tells you about how he got in the business, and he goes through his whole career almost.
It's like a Foley thing. It's not a podcast.
It's really like a Mick Foley thing. So I've enjoyed what I've seen of it. I would like to see him live. I don't know if he'll ever come around my way. I'll probably be in DC. I'd have to drive to see it. But I absolutely would like. I'd say go see it if you get a chance. I'd love to see it. I'd love to see it. And yes,
that's another name. Lex Luger.
That's a bad taste in their mouth, though, for when he left. That's a bad taste. When he just up and left and showed up on WCW Monday night, that struck a lot of people the wrong way, man. Pat Patterson, though, have you heard Pat Patterson's story when he told Bruce Pritchard that it happened? Did you hear what he said?
You told me, but I want to hear it again. Go ahead.
He said, Brucey, the Lex is on the WCW. And Bruce said, well, what do you do about it? Fuck him, it's their problem now.
Well,
Fucking
you know, Lex
great.
is a changed man. He's a withered away. Sadly, when you have a spinal stroke and you're put into a wheelchair, that'll do it to you. And he's found God. And I think the last I heard, he was living with his mother. And God bless him. You know, if he repented and changed his ways, hell.
I don't
Miss
believe
Elizabeth. No, she's not.
I don't think she is.
No.
I don't think she is.
No.
I don't think she is. There was something else. There was something else happening today. If you're SmackDown's going to be tonight, folks, and I'm excited to watch it. I don't know if you are, Johnny. It's a loaded show. Pal. It's an absolutely loaded show. The Rock is great on the mic, and he cut another hellacious promo today. I'm not going to give it away, but he essentially came after the TV people this week in this edit for where they were blacking out his promo last week. If you watched the show last week like I did, it kept going to a black screen, and it was driving me nuts because it said live on the screen. And my wife was like, is there our TV? I said, no, it still says live. They're doing this at the network for a reason, and I don't know why. Found out later it was because somebody in the front row had a sign that said, die, Rocky, die. Are you shitting me right now, man? That's a callback to when he first came up in wrestling, and that was the chant they were giving him. And now we're blacking out shit like that on television. That's considered over the line now? Are you serious?
Well, I think if it was on USA, they wouldn't have blacked out the screen, but it was on an actual broadcast TV station. Fox is a broadcast. You can get Fox on your antenna, and they're it was, you know, early hour prime time. Probably a little dicey about that, Don. They don't want to have anyone chanting for someone to die because that would distract you from all the disembowelings and decapitations and other drama shows like CSI and shows of that nature. All the violence. You can't say you want someone to die. You'd rather just see a decapitated body on camera.
Do you understand how insanely
backwards
moronic this is? I can have a sign calling back to a time in wrestling where this was chanted by 18,000 people. You've got a show talking about rape, murder, and incest, but I can't hold up this sign? I mean, it's goddamn ridiculous, man. Completely ridiculous. And I get that his daughter was, you know, getting death threats. But those people, there's a special place in hell for somebody wishing a death threat on a wrestler because of how they're doing on TV. Like
his daughter's makeup artist should get death threats. Whoever puts that stuff on her face needs to get fired.
It drives me nuts.
She looks horrendous with all that eyeshadow and all. You don't see her in NXT. She's the GM of NXT now, Don, by the way.
Yeah, I know. We've talked about that, but
because she can't wrestle.
And that's fine. Look, I don't care. I do not care, man. She can do whatever she wants. I don't care. I'm not going to threaten this young lady's life. That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard of. Get a hold of your life, man. You're a pathetic incel piece of shit if that's what you're doing in your spare time.
Well, that's what they all are out there, pal, and the IWC and AEW fans and all that bullshit. That's how they operate. It's crazy. They're trying to fan the flames. Eamon, what are you laughing about?
He's just laughing at Matt Hardy came out and said some crazy shit today.
Oh, Matt Hardy's contract's up this month, by the way.
Thank God he can go away.
He'll probably go to he'll probably try to get a job at WWE or TNA.
You know
he'll probably go to TNA.
You know he thinks they're going to have him back at WWE with his hobbled ass. It'll never happen.
He's hoping for that RoboCop remake where he can play Ed 209.
The only time I want to see Matt Hardy on my TV again is when he's going into the Hall of Fame. In a wrestling capacity. That's the only time I want to see that guy anymore. I am scared to death every time that guy gets in the ring anymore. Scared to death. And yes, I heard that they said it was because it said the rock shops at Balco. Yeah, that ain't what it was. They're trying to use that shit to escape the real reason. It was obvious as soon as it happened.
I'm lost here.
It's the steroid company that was supplying Barry Bonds in the late 90s full of steroids and early 2000s that juiced
I can
them up.
believe that. I could believe the Rock shot.
Yeah, but that's what they're trying to claim now. But it was the Die Rocky Die side that they were blocking out every time and going to black. It's just dumb, dude. Just dumb. Any of that shit, even if it's Balco, I don't care. It's stupid. It's all stupid. Get over yourself. Get some thicker skin. It's wrestling. Jeez, man. As long as they're not threatening death or blowing up the building, let it happen. Good God. Grow a sack and man up. Oh, anyway.
This has been a public service announcement from the Squared Circle Maniacs.
Matt Hardy said he loves the fact that Darby Allin's glass spot was polarizing. Can we officially say Matt Hardy's had too many damn chair shots, like officially? This guy's all over the map. 1 week he's bitching he's not on TV. The next week he's giving high fives to every wrestler in the back. This dude is polar at this point in time. He's schizo. He's going in every direction, man. He's criticizing the company. He's loving the company. Dude, pick a lane, man. Which lane are you going down today?
Right now, he's probably with a Hardy compound in the bushes, nude from the waist down, with a pair of pliers pulling at his front teeth, while his wife, the spawn of Dracula, is having another a hot tub bath full of blood and candles and bats flying around the goddamn bathroom.
I
have no words. I have no words except for that. And his brother Jeff is probably driving a tractor around in a circle with, I'm going up to 7-Eleven to get some Fireball. You want to come?
Colin said frickin' CTE, the new Matt Hardy gimmick.
It's a new gimmick. That'd be a great gimmick for him. The CTE brothers.
We laugh.
Have them both come back like that.
We laugh, but that's sad because it's just, what are you even saying, Matt? What are you saying? Anyway.
Well, there comes a time, all these guys who have forms of varying stages of notoriety, and the most obvious one is Ric Flair. He won't go away. He won't go away.
He needs money, man. Ric Flair needs money.
Ric Flair wanted Conrad Thompson to talk to Tony Khan to be more prominent in the Sting angle, to be the guy that turns on Sting and beats him up and does all this stuff where he'll throw a fist and fall forward. Because he can't maintain his balance because he's drunk all the time. He said, come on, Conrad, you talk to Tony, your friends. And Conrad said, I told him, I said, you're there. You go ahead and talk to him. You're there. You work for the man. You talk to him. I got no skin in this game. Conrad would not. He wouldn't talk to he wouldn't help his own father-in-law out. The whorehouse curtain suit wearing, purple faced.
I think he's
helicoptering dipshit. 75-year-old dipshit.
He's helped him enough by now.
Guys like Flair, guys like Matt Hardy, guys like who else is still hanging around from the old days, Don? Sergeant Slaughter,
Matt Hardy.
Jeff Hardy.
Sergeant Slaughter's just doing shows now. He just does shows.
If someone said to Sergeant Slaughter, "Hey, I want you to be with WWE in Punxsutawney, PA. We're doing a house show up there. We need you to do an angle in the ring," he would be there. He'd be there before the place opened up.
There was one other bit of news I want to cover real quick because we still got to
talk about. What I'm saying though, before you go over that, these guys don't know when to stop. They don't know when to say, "All right, I'm out. I'm riding my horse off into the sunset. Anybody got a job for me as a backstage hand? Set the ring up? Be an agent, producer? You need me to go get Perrier for Triple H? I'll do whatever you want me to do." But they won't do that.
All right, moving on to the next topic because we got to talk about this. We're running late and it's getting.
We got a lot to cover.
They did the Earthquake special on Dark Side of the Ring. If you haven't watched Dark Side of the Ring, they've been on now for about 4 seasons, I think, maybe 5. It's a really good show. It covers some very uncomfortable truths about wrestling at times. Some people hate it. Some people love it. Some people have a hard time dealing with some of the truths they uncover because it's your favorite wrestlers from the past, right? And they weren't always nice guys. Like they did some shady shit back in the day. Drugs were very, very available in the 80s and 90s. It was, especially the 70s, 80s, and 90s. They weren't always the greatest human beings, yes. Which is why this one, when I heard Dark Side of the Ring, JOHN TENTA, who was Earthquake, I said, oh, shit, what did this guy do?
He was clean as a whistle.
Turns out the guy was clean as a whistle and was as good as it gets. The worst thing this guy did was he ate. That was his only vice. He liked to eat food. And he was a big man. We're talking about a guy that was a trained sumo wrestler that was undefeated, they said, in Japan. Now, I don't know how true that is, but they said he was undefeated and was on his way to becoming a Yokozuna and said, hey, guys, I appreciate it, but my heart's not in this. I've always wanted to be a pro wrestler. I'm going to go be a pro wrestler.
He couldn't handle the lifestyle. There was a lot that those guys do to train, to eat, to work out. He couldn't handle that lifestyle. You are a sumo wrestler 24/7.
Yes, and that's all you do. That's all you do in that culture. That is all you live. That is eat, sleep, and live that. But from what I understand of the show, correct me if I'm wrong, this dude didn't go to like any kind of school or anything. He just went straight to the WWE and went straight to the top from how they were telling it. I can't believe that's what happened. I know he had trained a little bit here and there, but he went straight in and went straight to the top. Is that what you read as well? Is that what you took away from the show?
I did think that, but they didn't mention whether or not he trained with anybody in New Japan or All Japan or whatever back in the day, just to get smartened up as to how wrestling worked, professional wrestling.
It was such a good show. It was a nice relief to see a guy that was a good person. Good show. And he came in and, dude, look, when I was, a kid watching this guy back in the day, I knew he was a big guy. I didn't realize that son of a bitch was 6'7". That's a humongous man. He was legit 6'7", huge guy. And when you see him stand there next to Hogan, it also sort of made me realize just how damn big Hogan was back in the day. Massive. They were both just these gigantic humans.
You couldn't walk around John Tenta. You had to ride a bike around him.
It would take a taxi. I got to go to the front of that guy. Right. I'm not walking over there. I'll die. He was huge. The run he had with Hulk Hogan was so amazing. I remember it like it was yesterday when he squashed him. I believe it was on the Brother Love show. They showed that. And he put the heart, he put down WrestleMania, and they had the whole right into Hulk Hogan gimmick, and he ended up having another battle. What a great run he had. And then he ended up going with Typhoon. They formed the Natural Disasters. Typhoon and Earthquake. Two big, humongous men.
It was just the nicest guys in the business.
Yes.
The nicest guys in the business.
And they talked about how they got backstage and, all they did was play cards and tell jokes. They'd go to the hotel. They weren't into drinking. They weren't into going out. They weren't into doing any of those things. They
were into room service, Don.
That's what they were into. That was it.
They ate and shot the shit about their families and told jokes.
Yes. I agree. Vince always pushed the Giants to the top, and this man was no different. He was a humongous man. I loved the show. I loved everything about it. I highly recommend it. There you go. You love hearing Dusty. Yeah, Uncle Fred. That was great.
Uncle Fred, you dropped your muffler.
It was so good. It was so heartwarming.
Beach towel. That muffler was a beach towel.
And, it felt like, Typhoon's never going to get his own show. So they had to give Typhoon some love in this show, which I liked. And they used the Shockmaster gimmick. This was the first time I've ever heard the unedited version with the wrestlers talking behind the scenes, and you could actually hear what they said. Did you hear Booker T when he fell?
No, I didn't hear it.
I rewound it 3 times. All you hear is Booker T go, that motherfucker fell. And then you hear the British Bulldog, he fucking fell. They both said it. And one of the wrestlers goes, who the hell is that guy? All of this was off camera. They didn't record it when it came over the TV that I've ever seen. This was the first time I finally heard that. I rewound it at least 10 times. I was laughing so hard listening to Booker T. I was dying laughing. And of course,
And if no one really knows what happened with the Shockmaster when he fell through the wall, they rehearsed it before they went on the air. And he busted through the wall, and they put the wall back together, and they put a 2x4 at the bottom to keep it together. And Fred with the helmet, he said you couldn't see through the helmet at all.
Yeah, he said they were
spray painted over the eye holes. Yes. So as he went through the wall, he tripped over the 2x4, which wasn't there in the beginning, and fell ass over tea kettle.
And just ate shit, just completely ate shit. And then, of course, like many wrestlers, apparently, Earthquake was not good with his money. He didn't know how to really spend it.
Hang on a second. What wrestler never saw that before? And he was on the show. And they played it for him for the first time.
Oh, shit! Haku! If you get a chance, please go back and watch Haku. He's never seen this before in his life and absolutely came unglued laughing at this segment. He had tears.
He was laughing so hard.
He had tears in his eyes. He was laughing so hard. And the part that got me was when he fell. He goes, oh, he's looking for the gimmick. Oh, he can't find the gimmick.
He's looking for
Look at him looking for the gimmick. That
tears
shit
coming
was,
out.
Dude, so good. It
the
was
toughest man in
so
professional
good.
wrestling. You'll see cry twice in that
Yes,
show.
you will.
He'll cry twice.
Which tells you all you need to know about John Tenta as a man.
Yes. People adored that guy. And his wife, good Lord Almighty, she was a Filipino woman who was working in Japan. And he met her at a karaoke bar. And he had a hell of a singing voice, apparently.
Apparently. Because they did it all the time, apparently.
Their big gimmick was singing Endless Love. The old Lionel Richie and Diana Ross duet. Back in the 80s, if you remember that. Kids.
Happy about that.
That was a big song. That.
And then, of course, you know, he had various jobs after wrestling when his run was over. I just can't see him as a Sears sucker suit, working in Sears in the big and tall section. His son was talking about him, just absolutely pouring sweat, sitting under the lights in a 3-piece suit, just dripping, got freaking bacon grease coming off his arms to the damn floor.
Jesus Christ.
I'm telling you, dude, there's no way. Had to be tough.
Hey, pal, you got a 56 long? Yeah, I got it right over there, brother. Come on, follow me.
Bacon falls out.
Jesus Christ.
But
he's sweating Wesson oil.
He really was. Like grease was poured. He just stood over the counter and his wife collected. That's what they cooked with that night.
Jesus Christ.
Anyway.
Well, everybody loved John Tenta. Everybody did.
He went on to be a truck driver after this. He had been having pains in his abdominal region, found out he had cancer. It was too late. He died a few months
Bladder
later.
cancer, yeah. He was
cancer.
urinating blood.
Anthony Joshua has just knocked out Francis Ngannou out cold with a massive right hand. So that's been updated, everybody. I know some of you are in the fight game. They just now announced that on ESPN. I'll go watch
second
that
round.
Knock the shit out of him. I'll be watching that. Anthony Joshua was a joke, by the way. He's been dodging everybody for years.
Who's the guy I've been seeing on Twitter? I don't know his name. He was dressed like Seth Rollins with the bright green fur coat and the knit, like crocheted pants. He had on big white boots and a crazy hat and big sunglasses like Rollins. Who is that guy?
I have no idea. I don't know. If anybody knows, let me know, because I don't know. Boxing's not what it used to be. Anyway, that was the John Tenta Earthquake show. Wanted to cover that real quick. We also talked about the new WWE game. I know we got some game heads in here. I know people like to talk about it. I've got it. I've got the WrestleMania edition. My son wanted it. I wanted it. I said, okay, I'll buy it for both of us. So I'll give you a quick rundown of the game. It's one of the best looking games that they've ever put out. I can't wait to play it later. It's going to be rated here all day tomorrow, so I'm really going to delve into it. Check it out. The WrestleMania moments, and this is what I want to talk about. This shit is ridiculous what they've done. It's sad. They are blurring out faces left and right on this game. They don't show you Mean Gene. They don't show you the referees. They, of course, blotch out all of the damn WWF signage that they've got everywhere. They're not even doing. So this is what really got my attention. Everybody remembers the Fink. The Fink called all the damn matches. The Fink announced all
Howard
the winners.
Finkel.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Now they're using all these new ass hats to do this shit. So you're getting a throwback portion of the game where you're playing the WrestleMania, you're reliving your youth or you're seeing this for the first time, whatever. And they're not being true to their own damn story, man. Like they cut to it. The guy that's currently working for the company, he says the winner of the match. It sucks, dude. Give me the Fink. It's not that hard. Throw his family $10,000. Move the shit on down the line. Make it real. It just, I haven't gotten to Vince yet. I heard he's blocked out. If he's blurred, I mean, I get why.
Saw
some shit going on.
I saw a screenshot.
But the blurring
literally
of the
some
faces,
shit going on.
I'm not doing this again. You dickhead. Oh, I got to shower now. It's a good game, though. It's just that part of it sort of pisses you off. And the other part of it that I don't really care for is I know why they did it, but when they go into the match detail, they're like, well, it was a tough match, and I thought that he had me in this and that. And I was like, all right, come on, dude, just say this is what happened. Like, you don't have to make it to where it's, a Tyson Fury boxing match. Just do the thing. Do it right. Right?
So when you're playing this game, Don, you can go ahead and just like make whatever match you want. You don't have to, not following my story, that sort of thing. You could just go ahead and do like hardcore matches. You could do tag matches, pick people. Yeah. You could even do a three-way match. Like I got to do a three-way match of Tori Wilson, Stacy Keibler, and Vince McMahon. I could do that. If I wanted to.
Yeah, no, we're not doing it. Vince McMahon is a non-playable character. No, Vince McMahon is not.
Man,
there's no Brock Lesnar.
Yeah. Can you make them? I wonder if you could create them. Create a wrestler.
Oh, dude, I guarantee you, because the creator wrestler people are so good online, you can go find anybody you want. It's crazy what they put out there.
Just get my hair right, pal. Get my hair right.
So I would recommend the game. I'm enjoying the game. I don't know what anybody else does. I can give you a little bit of breakdown of what I do. I like to create my own roster. So I'll take a SmackDown roster, and I'll fill it with all the old wrestlers that I like. And that's all I focus on. That's it. That's where I got all my eggs in that basket. I bring back the old winged eagle. I bring back the heavyweight title.
Belt.
It's a great belt. It's probably my favorite belt ever. But the WrestleMania moments are fun. I can tell you this much. I'm at the point right now where I'm Bret Hart fighting Steve Austin at WrestleMania 13. And Steve Austin's rated like a 96. He is kicking the shit out of Bret Hart every time I get in the ring. He is walking a mud hole in my ass dry. I would recommend the game. The graphics, by the way, this might be the prettiest game they've ever made. I've got the PlayStation 5, so it looks fantastic. It looks fantastic, man. Highly recommend it. I think you'd enjoy it if you're a wrestling fan, especially if you're an old school wrestling fan. If you're a new wrestling fan, you're definitely going to enjoy it. So 8 out of 10 stars. It's probably one of the better games they've made in years. The WrestleMania moments are great. I'm barely even scratching the surface on the moments.
I'll wait till the price drops, like 3 or 4 months from now.
Yeah,
I'll wait till it goes down. I'm going to fix income, pal. I'm going to fix income. I'm an old man. I got to save all my money for alcohol and weed.
That's a good idea. I like that idea.
And a solid internet connection. What are we talking about now, Don? What we got now, big guy? We got something new?
I do. No, this happened today.
Will Ospreay?
Jesus Christ. Oh, they did come out today. Dave Meltzer came out and said, hey, by the way, it's not actually $4.5 million that they're going to play Okada. It's closer to $3 million. And we talked about that earlier. I don't want to delve into whatever Dave says right now, but that's what he says. The fact that it got reported at all. Look, a Japanese actual sports company reported it. I'm more inclined to believe them than I am to believe Dave Meltzer at this point. Because there was one other point of contention I want to talk about. Dave Meltzer put a tweet out today and said that the AEW pay-per-view made close to $10 million. So I went and did as much research as I $10 million. $10 million. WrestleMania, I want to say, 5 to 10 years ago was reportedly making 30 to 50 million. But that was for WrestleMania in stadiums. Like, that's what that was reported at. He said this thing made $10 million goddamn dollars. And I said, I've got to find every piece of information I can on this to see what had to happen for $10 million to go into this damn pay-per-view. So I started researching. The gate is an estimated $800,000. The average ticket price was $50. You do the math, kids. They sold a little over 16,000 tickets. Do the math, it's $800,000. Merchandise, they did a little over 300,000. It came to like 1.2 with both of those added together.
A lot of Sting shirts sold. That was probably the big mover.
Which, by the way, is probably a high number for them because I've read where they usually do about $100,000 worth of revenue on these things, typically. So that left me at 1.2 million. So I said, okay, I have got to make up the difference of $8.8 million. How many buys does AEW have to do on a pay-per-view to make that happen? The number was 175,000 buys. To put this in context, UFC typically does around 430 to 480 pay-per-view buys for their shows, right? Much bigger audience, huge audience. This is watched by millions of people, not hundreds of thousands of people. AEW has a core audience of about 820,000, and it's dropping by the show. Right?
Yeah.
I went and started doing some research on the AEW shows. And when they first started showing, their pay-per-views were around 75,000 to 80,000 to 85,000 at much.
Right.
So, okay, that's what they're doing. This is when they had over 1 million people watching the show when they first debuted. Are you following me here? Yes. 75 to 80,000 people were buying your pay-per-views, and that was what was being reported. Like, these were facts they were showing.
Mm-hmm.
The viewership has gone down. Somewhere about, go ahead, Bob, what are you going to say?
So it stands to figure with the viewership going down, the pay-per-view buys would drop like a stone also.
Exactly. Why would your pay-per-view buys go up if you're losing fans on your regular basis on your TV? That doesn't add up. That doesn't make sense to me. That's lunacy to me.
This is all crackhead mathematics.
It's Dave Meltzer math, baby. Dave Meltzer is smoking some shit you should be jealous of.
Well, he gets his info from Tony Khan.
And that's my point. That's exactly who's feeding him this shit. So I said, okay, let me keep digging into this. As I dug in more and more, suddenly, the pay-per-view buys went from 80 to 120,000, and they're starting to be asterisks. And it said estimated. Somewhere along the way, they stopped reporting actual numbers on this shit and started reporting what they wanted people to believe. The December show, they're reporting that 150,000 people bought the pay-per-view in December. So here's what we're being led to believe.
Well, hang on a second. If you recall back in the day when WWE used to be exclusively, and WCW, of course, used to be exclusively on pay-per-view, no network or anything like that, how long would they have to wait, Don, to find out the actual pay-per-view buys? Months, because people are still buying it. People are still buying the shit. People still say, hey, Revolution must have been a good show. I could still buy that right now. It's still available until the end of the month. After the end of the month, it goes off your cable system or your satellite system, and the new pay-per-view takes over. So
they're saying the initial buy rate was 175,000 televisions.
Horseshit. That's all I can say. Horseshit.
This is why I have an issue with this. You're telling me that over 1/8 of your audience subscribes to your pay-per-views on a regular basis. WWE fans don't even do that. And I could buy because it was Sting's last match. If you said between 100,000 and 120,000 people subscribed, I could even buy that. I could believe that. There's not a chance in hell you're going to tell me that almost a quarter of your audience paid for this show. I can't believe it. I'm sorry. When I used to watch WWE and you had to do a pay-per-view, you know how many pay-per-views I bought a year?
How many?
Just take a guess. I would take a guess. They do pay-per-views all year now. I take a guess how many you think I bought.
Well, you bought all the big ones, so I would have to say you bought 6.
I bought 2. WrestleMania and SummerSlam, and that's all I gave a shit about.
Oh, okay.
That was it. And I was a hardcore fan back in the day. I used to love this shit. You're not going to convince me for an ounce, for a minute, that 175,000 people paid for this shit. Look, everybody said 4. They all thought I went for the big 4. It was just 2. The Royal Rumble was just always a joke until here recently. I didn't like the Royal Rumble for a long, long time.
Right.
Royal Rumble 92 was the only one that was worth buying, in my opinion, for a long time.
With Flair?
Yes, that was so good. Sid Vicious eliminating Hogan, so good. So I wanted to share that, see what everybody's thought about that. It is, and yes, exactly. People had cheater boxes in the 90s.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah. That, if you didn't have it, you just turned the shit on your cable box and tried to watch the squiggly lines and just listened. I did that all the time. That's how I knew who won. Next day on the bus, I'd be going to school. Yeah, man, Bret Hart beat Diesel. No, man, I was listening to my TV. You got the pay-per-view? No,
I was listening to my TV.
I was listening to that shit, dog. Can't afford that shit. Man. My dad beat my ass. Anyway.
Great stuff.
That's what I had
mathematics.
For tonight. Dude, it is. Now go home and smoke some more crack.
Correct. Don, I got two things here.
What do you got?
If you want to talk about money, let's talk about AEW money. This is from the account Joseph the Demon Albanese at Demon Evil Muscle on the Twitter, boys and girls. He says, and this guy's always reputable, he goes and digs in with his nails into whatever story's out there right now. According to multiple reports, the holdup between AEW and Warner Brothers Discovery has everything to do with the amount of money Tony Khan wants over the life of a contract.
I saw this.
While Tony realizes he's not getting what WWE gets, he does want something in that relative ballpark. The problem is, it just might be money the network does not have, which would confirm all reports from several financial news outlets regarding the financial troubles the network is having.
Dude, you're not WWE big. You don't get big boy contracts until you put on a big boy show. He wants a 4-year $1 billion or 4-year $2 billion deal. That's what he's looking for. It's not going to happen.
It's not going to happen. And then he's going to leave there because they're going to shit can him. And he's going to wind up on True TV. Well, that can't go on True TV. That's owned by Warner Brothers Discovery.
Did you see what True TV is bringing
maybe?
in?
No, what are they bringing in?
True TV is bringing in sports now.
Really?
Yeah, they're going to start showing live sports to up the revenue on that channel.
Well, it's True TV. Live sports is True TV. It's real stuff. Well, they would have merged, Chris, with Paramount. And they put the kibosh on that because Paramount's got too much debt.
They're looking to merge Max with anything or WBD with anything they can. Anything they can. Warrior says everything in AEW is great. Ding!
It's great. It's great. Everything's great. It's the greatest company ever. It's the safest company ever. The safest place to be. The greatest company to be. Don, speaking of AEW, there Kevin Kelly, who was
I was going to talk about this. Was the last point. Yes, go ahead. Well, first
the voice of the WWE back in the day.
So good, right? So good.
So good. He was with WWE. He got let go there. He was a backstage interviewer, worked his way up to a commentator on the C shows, and he left there for greener pastures. I liked him too.
Can I pause it right there before you get
go ahead? Sure.
I love Kevin Kelly. He is one of the best guys on the microphone right now in wrestling. Mm-hmm. When we first started watching the Saturday Night Show in Collision, right? That's what it's called, Collision for AEW. He was there, correct? And he came
from New Japan. He came from New Japan.
Yes. It felt like a godsend that we had a wrestling guy in his prime calling wrestling matches again. It was glorious.
And they shit all over him.
God.
They shit all over him because he tried to give too much backstory about who guys were in the ring and about the grievances he had with one another, instead of just saying, well, go ahead and Google. Just go ahead and Google everything.
So go ahead and finish. I'm sorry.
Well, Kevin Kelly was a big fan of the movie The Sound of Freedom. If anyone remembers that movie from last year, Jim Caviezel was the star of it. The guy was the star of The Passion of the Christ. Jim Caviezel is a big-time conservative, a Republican, a Trump guy, and he's been blackballed from Hollywood. And when this movie came out, The Sound of Freedom, about child trafficking.
Which is an amazing movie. If you haven't seen it, it's absolutely insane. And it's based on a true story. Based on a true story, this shit happened.
Yes.
You can actually research this.
And Ian Riccaboni, or Riccaboni, whatever you want to call that prick, the Ring of Honor announcer, he ran down Kevin Kelly on Discord, which is some sort of messaging chat thing. I don't know how that shit works. I'm an old man. I barely know how to get on the fucking internet. Okay, and he ran down Kevin Kelly about he's a conspiracy theorist and there's no child trafficking going on between the elites and billionaires and around the world and all this other happy horse shit. And Kevin Kelly is an idiot. Blah blah blah. And Kevin Kelly took umbrage to this.
Imagine that, a guy standing up for himself.
He fired back and stood up for himself on Twitter about Ian Riccaboni, and they shit-canned him from AEW. And you know it's rare, Don, when you get fired from AEW. You never hear about anybody being fired from AEW. Never.
And Chris hit the nail on the head.
Kevin Kelly would be a great replacement.
I hope like him. I like Michael Cole, but he's become sort of the use him when it's the biggest show type moment. He doesn't need to be the voice every Monday night anymore. Bring Kevin Kelly in with Pat McAfee and see if that's going to work. I would love for this to happen.
And Michael Cole has hearing problems. He wears 2 hearing aids. Did you know that?
Yeah, Vince McMahon's been yelling his fucking ears for 20 years.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And he also was a war correspondent for CBS Radio back in the day, man. He was in the Persian Gulf.
God damn it, I said to plug the goddamn jerky. Plug the jerky. It's the jerky spot, pal.
God damn it, pal. You tell Yasser Arafat to shut the fuck up.
Slim Jim's got a new jerky tray. Put it out there. God damn it, I should have kept the Macho Man.
And the last thing I got, Don, is everyone's talking about Jake Paul fighting Mike Tyson. It's not wrestling related, but it's sort of.
Yes.
This is because Jake Paul's brother is Logan Paul.
It's a show.
It's a show. And I just like to let everyone know, Don, I like to let you know that this was some prognosticator. Someone pulled a Nostradamus back in the 80s and predicted this was going to happen.
Oh, shit. Shout out to Jason. That was Jason that put that out there, man.
Was it?
Yes, Jason put that shit out there. That's great.
Well, Jason, if you put that together, that was spread across the internet today like poop on a nursing home blanket. It was everywhere. You couldn't turn on Twitter without seeing that.
I'll have to message him when we get done. That's so awesome. Oh man,
folks! Anyway. When you leave our show right now, you turn on SmackDown, which it looks like about 20 of you already have. Tonight, Rock and Roman Reigns are going to be there together again. Cody Rhodes will be there. Solo Sikoa, Seth Rollins, if you will. Logan Paul's coming back, the U.S. champion. Randy Orton will be making an appearance. And the women's tag champions, the Kabuki Warriors, will be defending their titles. And you'll see Bobby Lashley. Bobby Lashley versus Karrion Kross. You'll get to make a sandwich for that match and then get a beer during the other match.
I'll take a shit turn that match. Big hairy dump coming up for Karrion Kross. God, that guy has an enigmatic charisma of nothing.
Did you hear when the Mike Graham matches came up in NWA Florida? You know who took a big hairy dump during those matches?
I do, actually. Like and subscribe.
Gordon Soley saying so long from the Sunshine State.